Okay, so we've got the EB8 or the energy bar installed on the underside of the stand. To a minor degree, that'll end up not necessarily replacing the power strip. The advantage of the EB8 is it will have the ability to turn on and turn off certain outlets or the equipment that's plugged into it, and that can be controlled by the apex itself. So there are some advantages there. Items that don't need to be controlled can run off the power strip over there, but we've got both of them. This EB8 is now centered in the middle of the stand, so that it should be able to reach all the different components, such as the chiller, if needed, the controller back there for the water pump, and certainly it'll be able to operate any of the equipment here inside the sump, such as the protein skimmer. The float switches, which we'll install in just a little bit, will be down inside here. But I think at this point what I want to now install will be the PM1 and the PM2 modules, which will be the interfaces between the probes for monitoring pH, temperature, and conductivity. So let's go ahead and unpackage those and install those now. So the PM1 and the PM2 modules I decided to position here on the right hand side of the energy bar. They're mounted up there. I'll now be able to attach the probes, and the reason for being on this side is it's right above the sump, of which we'll install the probe holder and probes here in just a second, but I thought it was a better location, thus saving this end of it for other equipment. I know we're putting the dose down here that'll end up either dosing calcium and alkalinity, or more likely doing the automated water changes for me. So it's now time to install the probes into the sump and hook them up to the PM1 and PM2 modules. I bought a probe holder. Now this is a magnetic probe holder from the Neptune system. This magnet will be on the outside, and this is the probe holder itself that'll attach on the inside, and the two will grasp each other, and that'll hold it into place. The probe holder has holes in it for the probes and little thumb screws to tighten it down, and then each one of the individual probes fits in through one of the holes. I've got 3 probes here to place in there, this being the temperature probe, this one being the conductivity probe, and this one here being the pH probe. Now, you'll notice that the temperature probe has what appears to be a cap on the end of it, so does the pH probe. This temperature probe we do not, I'm sorry, this is the salinity probe. Nope, this is the temperature probe. The temperature probe we do not want to remove that cap off there. The pH probe, on the other hand, we do want to remove the probe or the cap off the end of it, and there is no cap on the conductivity probe. So we can go ahead and insert those in the probe holder now. And let's start first by giving myself a little bit of slack here. On the cables. So you'll notice there is a bigger hole in the probe holder for the temperature probe, and apparently we have to loosen the thumb screw all the way out, and that fits through there, and then tighten down so that it's kind of snug. So the temperature probe is in place. We'll take the conductivity probe, slide it in, about the same depth. Tighten the little thumb screw. And then there is the pH probe, and it says here to remove the cap, and I think you want to do that carefully. Let's set this down for the moment. There's a seal, not an ocean seal, but a water seal on the pH probe, which is the reason for keeping it wet or moist, or the fact that it doesn't dry out during transportation. Just gotta set that there. And that slides through. So I need a bit more. Again, to about the same depth. Right, those are all snugly held in position. And we're going to take and reach this over to the inside of the sump. Now I decided to put it on this side of the sump so that it's a little bit easier to access, because at some point we're going to have to go in there and calibrate the pH probe. So to take the magnet here, place it on the outside, and it'll hold that probe holder in position. And I've got the probe holder positioned so that it's about where the water level is. Certainly we don't want the probes to become exposed to the air, so you would want to have at least the tips above where they would potentially become exposed to the air if there was a great fluctuation in the water level in the sump. So now with those in position, I can take and plug in the opposing ends of the probes into the PM1 and the PM2 modules. Alright, so the PM1 module is for the pH and has this B and C type connector. And it's fairly easily attached. The temperature can connect to the PM2 module, although it looks like it could also connect to the PM1 module. We'll put it in the PM2, and that's a phone jack type connection. And the conductivity probe has another type of connection on there, and that'll go into the PM2 module. Voila. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and tidy up the excess of those cables. This being the back side of the stand, which is where the excess cables are at, I've coiled up and used the little wire ties that came with it to kind of bundle them together. I've also taken and put in the 3 coiled tubes, or coiled cords, inside a little plastic bag. Not so much to waterproof them or protect the cords, but just to kind of contain them, because this particular spot back here is probably where I'll have equipment, other components and stuff stored, and I just don't need it to be caught on something as I'm sliding it along, so that'll help protect those from whatever stuff I put back here.
Hi there, my name's Jim Stime, and you know me as the LA Fish Guy. Well, I also wear a couple of other hats. One of them is the jellyfish tank called the Jelly Aquarium, and the third is myfishtank.com. I offer an entire line of acrylic aquariums ranging from rectangular to hexagon, flatback hex, as well as the custom curve front aquariums. There's also an entire line of stands and canopies ranging from MDF to pine to oak, with a variety of different finishes available. And the website is even smart enough that you can calculate what the freight and crate charges to your location will be. That's myfishtank.com. GHL is widely recognized for the most reliable and future-proof aquarium controllers, dosers, and aquarium LED lighting on the market. Designed and manufactured in Germany, all GHL products are built with the highest quality and standards. The GHL Profilux 4 raises the bar to a whole new level. Featuring built-in Wi-Fi, the Profilux 4 can be connected to your network wirelessly and be monitored and controlled from anywhere. With integrated ports for temperature, pH, ORP, conductivity, you can monitor virtually anything. Built-in expansion ports and optional flow sensors allow the Profilux 4 to scale to meet the needs of even the most advanced aquarium installations without the need for additional add-on modules. The new GHL Doser 2.1 takes dosing to the extreme with integrated Wi-Fi for wireless management. It includes inputs for level sensors, a temperature probe, and an output for a magnetic stirrer, making it an ideal solution for everything from dosing, automatic top-off, automated water changes, and even automated feeding. The GHL Mitras are the most powerful and flexible LEDs in their class. The 7206's built-in wireless control makes for fast and easy setup, while the GHL Light Composer allows users to easily set up their spectrum and lighting schedule. 6 individual LED clusters provide the industry's best blending of LED channels while also providing the best spread. 9 channels of control allow you to tailor your lighting scheme to meet the needs of even the most difficult to keep corals while also bringing out colors in corals and fish that would otherwise remain unseen. All GHL products can be controlled via the GHL Control Center application as well as the My GHL Cloud interface, allowing for monitoring, control, and management from anywhere via an internet connection. The unique interface eliminates the need for coding while providing advanced programming functionality unrivaled by the competition. If you're looking for the best controllers, dosers, and lighting on the market, then GHL has a product to fit your needs. For more information, visit aquariumcomputer.com.
So now with the USB cables that came with the PM1, PM2, I'm able to basically daisy chain via the USB connection from the PM1 to the PM2, and then using the additional cable I'm connecting the PM1 all the way here to the EB8. So the EB8 now communicates with the PM1 and the PM2 module. The next thing that I'll do is start working on the dose, which will go over there, and that will plug into the EB8, both power-wise as well as the USB. And then at some point I need to string the 2x4 across the rafters that's going to support the new lights that are coming, and that's where I will then take and make my connection from this EB8 up off of the back of the 2x4 for the lights, but that's going to reach across to that PM1 module up there. Oops, up there, and that's what will make my connection with the Neptune Apex system inside the house. So we've now removed the dose, which is the automated dosing system, or in this particular case, we'll use it for automated water changes. But I've removed it from the reef tank in the house, being suggested or told I don't need to dose that tank with calcium or alkalinity supplements, that if I keep my salinity up, I will achieve those higher levels, much to my frustration, but that's a whole nother story. So again, we have removed the dose unit. It's a dual head dosing system from the tank in the house. It's now been mounted at the end of the cabinet underneath the new Frag tank, and that in turn is connected to the EB8, both power-wise as well as USB-wise. So once this is connected, this EB8, to the main Neptune system, Apex system, it'll register on the laptop as well, and we'll be able to do automatic water changes in the sump here, of which that unit will draw its salt water from this reservoir over here, which happens to also be the one that supplies the tank inside the house. And then this same dose unit will pump water, the wastewater, the water it extracts from the tank, all the way over to the laundry drain over behind the washing machine. So that's how it will produce or provide automatic water changes in this system as well. So now the next step is to mount the 2x4 up there on the rafters so that we can ultimately suspend the new lights coming, as well as hook into that PM2 module up there and get everything all on the Apex system. So I think it's now time to position or screw in, attach, whichever word you want to use, the 2x4 that the lights will be suspended from. It'll be attached to that roof rafter and that roof rafter over there. I have this support here, which is partly for the reef breeder's light, and that will support the 2x4 at one end. And then I've created a little bit of a loop with a piece of wire at that end to hold the opposing end of the 2x4, knowing that it's just me here to suspend this. Make sure there's nothing that falls into the tank. I've placed some lids there, and I've got a piece of acrylic or plexiglass over the top of that tank with a couple of boards there in case something falls. My 2x4 I painted so it'll look attractive and match the rest of the woodwork here in the garage, so that's ready to go. So let's go ahead and position it. Now I did pre-drill a hole through the 2x4 and have also pre-drilled a hole into the rafter. I think what I need to do is put the screw in the 2x4 and then make sure that it's going into the hole in the rafter, because that's some real hard and apparently dry wood, and it doesn't accept the screw very easy. I've also got a 3-inch screw, but instead of the typical Phillips head, it's got a kind of a hex head type of head on it, and I've got a fitting I can put in the screwdriver to help make sure I get a real good strong drive of the unit, the screwdriver, to push it into that rafter. Alright, our 2x4 support beam is in place. Got it well screwed with a 3-inch screw into that rafter, and again another 3-inch screw into that rafter, just as a precaution. Call it the Radion precaution. I have wrapped some wire around the 2x4 as well as the rafter in case something were to rust or break. At least there's still a little bit of a something to hold on to. So that's what the new lights will be attached to. The new lights are going to be expensive ones. There's 3 GHL mitras coming, and that'll be in another episode or another part. But the brace for it is now attached, and at that point, this point, I can now make a connection from that PM2, which will hop right over to this, run across here, drop down, and will ultimately connect into the EB8. Okay, so the USB cable is plugged into the tail end PM2 module, and it kind of comes across, affixes itself to the end of the 2x4 that the lights will hang from, comes across over here, comes down, and we're just about ready to plug it into the EB8. Okay, so with some awkward and frustrating coaching, I have managed to get everything that we hooked up today recognized by the Apex system. We've got coral temperature, coral pH, and coral salinity listed in the Apex dashboard. So I can now not only monitor that from my laptop, I'm sure I can monitor it from my smartphone as well. So I think we managed to get everything hooked up at this point. Okay, so we managed to get the Apex hooked up to the new coral grow out tank. I still have the ATO aspects to deal with, and I still need to go through and move the plugs for the equipment into the designated outlets on that EB8. So make it a point to come on back for the next two parts, one of which will be dealing with the ATO and the programming that we're going to do as far as the controlling of the equipment. And then in particular, I'd like you to come back for the episode or the part that deals with the lights. Those will be the GHL Mitra LED lights. Scott's going to have some fancy programming. We're going to suspend those off that 2x4 that I strung up there. So make it a point to come on back and visit with us and learn with us. Until then, keep moving forward.